You know, Emily, people often ask me how I manage to get so much done, and honestly, it all boils down to my daily routine. It's pretty structured.
Oh, I'm all ears, Paul. I could definitely use some structure in my life. So walk me through it. What does a typical morning look like for you?
All right, so I'm an early riser. I usually wake up around 6 o'clock every single day. No snooze button for me. Then it's straight to the shower. Get dressed for the office. Pretty standard stuff.
6 a.m. Wow, that's dedication. Do you grab breakfast on the go or do you have a proper meal?
Oh, absolutely a proper meal. That's a non-negotiable family time. I usually have breakfast with my family. It's usually parathas and curd, though in winter, I swap the curd for some butter. It's a small comfort, you know.
That sounds lovely, a nice way to start the day with family. So after breakfast, it's off to work.
Exactly. Around 8 o'clock, I leave for the office, hop into my car, and start the commute.
And when do you typically roll into the office?
I aim to reach by 9, and the first thing I do, even before diving into emails, is plan my day. It's crucial for me to map out what needs to get done. Then, computer on, emails checked, and important ones replied to.
Planning first, I like that. I bet that saves a lot of time. When do you tackle the heavy lifting?
Definitely the first half of the day. I complete all my important work before lunch because, honestly, after lunch, I tend to feel a little sluggish. It's just how my energy levels work.
I can totally relate to the post-lunch slump. So, what time is lunch for you?
Around 1:30 p.m. And after eating, I always take about a 10-minute stroll outside just to stretch my legs and get a bit of fresh air. It helps reset things.
That's a great habit. So, after your walk, it's back to the grind?
Pretty much. I resume my work around 2 o'clock. The afternoon is usually when I make most of my calls and write any remaining emails. Then, a quick tea break around 4 p.m. And I'm usually wrapping up my pending work by 6 o'clock, ready to leave the office.
So, you're out the door by 6. How long does it take you to get home, and what's the evening routine?
It takes about an hour to reach home, so I'm usually back by 7. First thing, I freshen up, grab some snacks, and just rest a bit. After dinner, I make sure to go for a walk, clear my head.
That sounds like a nice way to wind down. Do you just relax after your walk, or do you have more on your plate?
Well, even before bed, I dedicate some time to important tasks that keep my mind engaged, like learning new vocabulary or working on an article I'm writing. It's my way of staying sharp and growing, even at the end of the day.
That's truly impressive, Paul. Learning right before bed. And then lights out when?
I'm usually in bed by 10 o'clock. A solid 8 hours of sleep is key to getting up at 6 and doing it all again. It's a cycle, but it works for me.
What a day! It sounds like you've really mastered the art of balancing productivity with personal well-being. It's inspiring to hear how much you prioritize family, physical activity, and even continuous learning. Thanks for sharing your incredibly well-structured day, Paul. Hey, Paul, thanks for joining me today. I feel like Sundays are this magical day, you know? It's like a universal reset button. But everyone spends it so differently. I'm always curious to hear how people truly unwind. What does a typical Sunday morning look like for you?
Emily, it's great to be here. And you're right, Sunday really is special. For me, the morning is all about a slow start. I usually get up around 8 o'clock, which honestly, after a busy week, feels like sleeping in until noon. There's no alarm, no rush, just the natural rhythm of waking up.
8 o'clock sounds perfect. Not too early, not too late. I'm usually up a bit earlier, but I totally get that feeling of no alarm, no rush. That's the golden rule of Sunday, isn't it? What's the very first thing you do once you're out of bed? Do you hit the coffee machine immediately, or is there a different ritual?
Funnily enough, not coffee straight away. My first move is to freshen up, and then I'm out the door for a long morning walk. It's become this essential part of my Sunday. The air just feels different early on a Sunday, quieter, almost like the world is still waking up alongside me. I love just breathing it all in.
A long morning walk. That sounds incredibly refreshing. Do you have a favorite route? Are we talking city streets, a park, or somewhere more scenic? I imagine it's a great way to clear your head before the day truly begins.
Definitely a park if I can help it. There's this lovely one not too far from my place with some decent trails. It's just so peaceful, and honestly, it ties into another one of my Sunday habits. I hardly shave on Sunday. It's like the ultimate relaxation day, right? No need to be prim and proper, just let the beard do its thing.
Oh, I love that! Hardly shave on Sunday. It's such a simple yet profound statement about letting go of the weekly grind. For me, it's usually no makeup, just let my skin breathe. It's those little acts of rebellion against daily expectations that make Sunday so special, isn't it? So after your walk, does the park continue to be your sanctuary?
Absolutely it does. After the walk, I generally work out in the park for about half an hour, just some bodyweight exercises, stretching, nothing too intense, but enough to get the blood flowing and feel energized. It's a great way to connect with nature even while breaking a sweat. It feels less like a chore and more like an enjoyable activity.
That's fantastic discipline, Paul. Half an hour in the park doing a workout. I always tell myself I'll do something similar, but often my Sunday mornings involve a lot more leisurely stretching on the couch with a cup of coffee. You're combining fresh air with fitness, which is brilliant. So after all that activity, what about breakfast? Are we talking a quick bite or something more substantial?
Oh, definitely substantial. After that morning walk and workout, I come home absolutely famished. I eat a heavy breakfast and it's a bit of a celebration because I have the freedom to sleep in and just take my time with it. No rushing off to work. It's usually something hearty, maybe pancakes or a big omelette with all the fixings. And lots of coffee then, finally!
Pancakes or a big omelet? That sounds like the perfect reward for a productive morning. I'm a huge fan of a decadent Sunday breakfast. It sets the tone for the whole day, I think. So you've had your hearty breakfast, you're energized from your walk and workout. What does your Sunday afternoon typically involve? Do you maintain that active pace or does it shift into something more relaxed?
It definitely shifts to a more relaxed pace. After breakfast, I really enjoy watching TV for 2 to 3 hours on Sunday. It's my dedicated catch-up time for shows I've been meaning to watch or maybe rewatching an old favorite. There's just something comforting about sprawling out on the couch without any guilt, you know?
2 to 3 hours of TV? That's some serious dedication. Are you binging a specific series or is it more like channel surfing for whatever catches your eye? I totally agree about the no guilt part. It's a precious commodity on a Sunday. For me, it's usually reading, but I can definitely see the appeal of just zoning out with some good television.
It's usually a bit of both. I might pick up a new documentary series or delve into a drama everyone's been talking about. Sometimes it's just sports, just having something on in the background. Then, after lunch, the afternoon takes another turn. I either watch movies, big blockbusters, indie films, whatever, or I hang out with my friends.
Movies or friends sounds like a great choice to have. What usually dictates whether it's a movie afternoon or a friend's afternoon? Is it spontaneous or do you plan it out? I'm imagining a cozy cinema experience or a lively gathering. Both sound pretty good.
It really depends on the week. If there's a new movie out that I've been wanting to see, I might head to the cinema. But often, it's just calling up my buddies and seeing who's free. When we do get together, it's always a good time. We chat for hours, just catching up on life, work, everything, and of course, we play pranks on one another.
Playing pranks on each other? Oh, now I'm intrigued. What kind of pranks are we talking about here, Paul? Nothing too destructive, I hope. That sounds like a really lively and fun way to spend an afternoon. It's great to have those long, unstructured catch-ups with friends.
Oh, nothing destructive, just good-natured fun. We're talking hiding each other's phones, switching salt and sugar in the shakers for a minute, or harmless jump scares. You know, just keeping each other on our toes. It's always a lot of laughs. It's those moments of genuine connection and silliness that really recharge you for the week ahead, I think.
That's brilliant! Sounds like you've got a fantastic group of friends. And those kinds of laughs are just priceless. So as the sun starts to set and the afternoon winds down, what does your Sunday evening typically entail? Are you still in full relaxation mode or does a bit of preparation for the week ahead creep in?
For the most part, still relaxation mode. I love trying out new recipes, so I occasionally prepare dinner on Sunday. It's a creative outlet for me, picking something I've never made before and seeing how it turns out. Sometimes it's a masterpiece, sometimes it's an adventure, let's just say. But it's always fun.
That's such a lovely hobby, trying new recipes. What kind of cuisine do you usually gravitate towards, or is it just whatever sparks your interest at the moment? I'm always impressed by people who cook elaborate meals on a Sunday evening. My usual is something simple and quick, often leftovers from Saturday.
It's really varied. One week it might be an authentic Thai curry, the next a complex Italian pasta dish. I love the challenge, and the smells that fill the kitchen are just amazing. While that's all happening, sometimes I play with my nephew and niece. They often come over on Sundays, and their energy is just infectious.
Oh, that's adorable! Playing with your nephew and niece. I can imagine their energy would be quite the contrast to your relaxed morning. What kind of games do you usually play with them? Do they get to be your sous chefs in the kitchen?
Sometimes they do. They love helping with the simpler tasks like stirring or adding ingredients. But mostly, we're building forts, playing board games, or running around in the yard. It's pure, unadulterated fun, and it really brings me back to a childlike state of mind. It's a wonderful way to end the weekend with some pure joy.
That sounds incredibly fulfilling, Paul. Spending time with family, especially the little ones, can be so grounding. After all that delicious food and playful chaos, what do you do to wind down? Do you have any specific evening rituals to ease you into the new week?
I do, actually. I make sure to spend some time for singing and drawing, which are my favorite hobbies. They're my creative escape, a way to express myself before the week kicks in. Even if it's just for a short while, it feels like a necessary mental cleanse. It's a way to process everything and just be in the moment.
Singing and drawing? Wow, you've got some serious creative talents, Paul. Do you share your art with anyone, or is it purely for your own enjoyment? That's such a beautiful way to center yourself. I find it so important to dedicate time to those personal passions.
Mostly for my own enjoyment, though sometimes my niece and nephew get to see the drawings. It's more about the process than the product for me. And then, there's another element to my Sunday evenings. I attend meditation camp on Sunday on and off. It's not every week, but when I do, it really helps to calm my mind and set a positive tone.
Meditation camp? That's really interesting. Is it a specific style of meditation or more of a general mindfulness session? That sounds like a fantastic way to cap off the weekend and prepare mentally for the week. I've dabbled in meditation, but never consistently. I admire that dedication.
It's a mix, but often focused on mindfulness and breathing exercises. It's a great community too. Just being in a space with others who are also seeking that inner peace is very powerful. It helps me to declutter my mind and really focus on the present. After all that, after dinner, I read some good books or go to bed.
Reading some good books is the perfect end to a Sunday, I think. What genres do you usually go for on a Sunday night? Are we talking fiction, nonfiction, something to completely escape into? It sounds like you've crafted a really balanced and enriching Sunday routine, Paul. Blending activity, relaxation, creativity, and connection. It's truly inspiring.
Definitely fiction, something to get lost in, away from the stresses of the week. Or sometimes a biography to learn about fascinating lives. It's a lovely, gentle way to transition into sleep.
Thank you, Emily. It's been really interesting to lay it all out like this. It makes me appreciate my Sundays even more. What about you? Maybe we'll have to chat about your Sunday sometime too. I would love that, Paul. It's been such a delight hearing about your Sunday rituals. From the early morning walks and workouts to the afternoon pranks with friends, the creative cooking and art, and then finding peace in meditation and a good book. It sounds like the ideal blend of activity and tranquility. Thanks for sharing your perfect Sunday with us today. It really paints a picture of how to truly make the most of that special day. And thank you all for listening.